And I encourage you to continue growing, continue stretching, and you don't have to implement all the ideas at once. See, you want to think about which was the best thing for me. And sometimes we could do too much. Sometimes, I was talking to a few people and I was listening to their morning routine. It's way too long, way too long. And you're just checking a box there. It's not going to have the impact. The most important thing to remember is less is more. And it's not about doing a million things. Like one of my favorite quotes is from Bruce Lee. He said, I never worried about my opponent who practiced 1,000 moves. It was my opponent who practiced one move 1,000 times. Now, to do one move 1,000 times is very contradictory to our paradigm. Our paradigm doesn't want to do it. And think about, I was talking to I was talking to Clinton, and Clinton said, before I came here, I wasn't going to come here because I was in such worry, doubt, and fear. And he said, thank God I came, And I said, worry, doubt, and fear is a real thing. And when you let it turn into a feeling, you're screwed. Because you didn't catch it. See, I always talk about, there was a slide I used to play almost on a weekly basis to our Millionaire Mastermind group. And it was called the opportunity gap. Every moment in the day, we have an opportunity. And when you don't catch that opportunity to reject that right away, that fear, that worry, then it's turning into a feeling. And it's too late. And the reason I say it's too late, you might not even catch that you didn't catch it for several hours. But anybody who's around you, they're like, oh, they're having a hard time. So we want to understand of coming from the paradigm of the paradigm you really want for yourself. That's the paradigm, not your current paradigm. Your current paradigm is getting you your current results. If you want your current results, keep doing it. I want better results. Now, I don't know what that paradigm is. I haven't created it yet. I don't know what it is, but you keep stepping into it. You keep stepping into it and stepping into it and stepping into it. That's why creating your mental equivalent is absolutely critical. It is so, it's the difference for you of actually doing the work. See, a lot of people will come in and they think they're in an environment like this in a room and they think that's it. That's it. That's not it. That's the start. The disciplines, the stretching, the learning. See, that's why I was telling you, when I was talking about selling yesterday, I think all of you have to master selling. To me, selling is the only way you're going to be able to impact people. You can't impact them until you sell them into something, whatever your idea, product, or service is. And you have to really lock into that and understand that. Mike, I think that's a huge opportunity for you. I think we've got to put a lot of attention on selling, because you say, oh, I could sell people who are laydowns, but the others I don't do. Well, that's not selling, okay? That's writing an order. They're already ready. I want you to be able to sell, because think about how many people you're missing. And your mission is strong when you're up here. You can hear your passion. So we want to put a lot of attention there. And the more attention we put on it, the further it's going to go. This lesson, I will tell you, is going to really take it home for you. Because consistency and accountability is the difference between average and top performers. Now, I want you to ask yourself this. How consistent am I with my disciplines? How consistent am I with my thinking? Am I thinking based on appearances, or am I thinking based on what I really want? And this is what I want you to look at. So, hey Mike, will you give me all the things we gave them so I can go over it with them too? All right. See, that's what we want to understand. And then what type of attention are you placing on your desires? Subjective attention or objective attention? Subjective is you are in harmony with that desire. You're thinking, feeling, and acting like that person. Objective attention is letting the outside dictate what you're thinking. Now, most of my life until I made changes, I was living objectively. I was living all from the outside world. When things were going good, thanks. When things were going good, I felt good. When things were not going good, I was in worry, doubt, and fear. And I was frustrated. And I was angry about it. And I'd make excuses and I'd rationalize. I was telling Heidi this morning. I said, anytime you're rationalizing, your paradigm is controlling you. That's the trigger. Well, this is because of this is happening. You know, we had an illness in our family, so I took 6 months off, okay? Like, you know, you want to get to a point, like, I remember 2 years ago, my mom passed away 2 years ago. And during that time, I knew I had a responsibility to continue leading a team and doing what I did. And I compartmentalized it. But I had trained myself to this point to develop a certain mindset where you're at your best and you're focused in the present moment on what you're focused on. You know, it was a very difficult to do, but it was essential because I had a lot of people leaning on me. And we were doing an event, and Bob said, forget about the event. And I said, no. I said, I'm at the hospital, and I went in, they made me this room, and I was doing sales calls in this room at the time when my mom was asleep or this and that. Well, I had people on my team helping me, but I knew there was nothing else that I could do at that moment. So it's like, I have trained myself, there's no excuses. And that's how we have to train ourselves. You may say, oh God, if you want to create a world-class life, there's going to be times that are harder. There's going to be times that things happen. You know, there's going to be times that you have a lot of adversity that's a lot harder adversity. But you still have to raise from inside. It's all inside. That's why the best part of you is subjective. That's the best part of you. And that's why, like Karen, I was thinking of you this morning, and I'm thinking, imagination is going to be critical for you. Because right now you're using it against you too often. See, when our emotions are greater than the highest side of ourselves, we're in trouble because our emotional state is dictated by our intellect. So we're using the higher faculties against ourselves. And we create our environment. Nobody else does. Like, I can't create Geneva's environment. I can be a conduit to help her, but I can't create it for her. She can't create it for me. I have to do that. She has to do that. That's why we want to look at is our imagination working for us or against us? Okay? Working for us or against us? Melissa, we got to do that video for your husband. We'll make sure we do it today. We'll do it first thing. And accountability is a success insurance policy. It is a success insurance policy. Who is on your dream team that is helping you be accountable? And if you don't know that, then you have to find that. Too many people are out in a corner by themselves thinking they're going to do it by themselves. You know, the funny thing is, you have to do it alone, but not by yourself. Like, you have to do the work. Like, Anthony has to think for himself. You know, Jan has to do the activities. But he doesn't have to do it alone. He could surround himself with mastermind partners, with mentors that will expand him greatly. And you get to know yourself. And when you know yourself, you know, some people are shy. Some people They don't like to speak in groups, right? And they like more one-on-one. So you know yourself. So we want to surround ourselves with the right accountability. Now, don't start your day until you finished it. See, the first thing we have to do in the morning is we've got to understand and fall in love with our magnificent future. That's the first thing you think about. Oh, I am so grateful for today. You breathe that air out. And you're like, I get to do this today. I'm going to create the most amazing day of my life. Today is our most amazing day. That's all we know. So when we're focused on worry, doubt, and fear, we are way back here. Way back here. See, I was telling Heidi Colombo yesterday, I said, the biggest challenge for people is to learn how to let go. See, when we're not letting go, all our energy is back here in the past. It's all back here. When we let go, all our energy is forward. And I look at problems a little different. You know, Clinton was telling me, like, one of his companies dissolved, and he said it really started playing games with him. And I said, see, if I would have talked to him when it was happening, I'd say, this is the best thing that ever happened to you. You know, because it is the best thing. It wouldn't be happening. It's not happening for any other reason than happening for you. So your morning process is very important. And you want to I give you guys ideas. If you go to our website, I have a lot of ideas for morning processes. And I change mine up a little bit every 90 days. It's like a workout. You don't want to get used to it. And so your morning process, the things that have to be in there is your auto-suggestion of your goal, non-negotiable. Writing out your goals, non-negotiable. Listening to your vision, non-negotiable. Listening to your vision is going to keep your magnificent future in front of you. And then your I am statements. You know, those are 4 things that will not take a lot of time. They'll take a lot of practice, a lot of discipline. Like if you just did those 4 things, you're going to be set up for your morning, okay? And then you want to get so obsessed with your daily goal. You say, this is what I'm going to do. I am going to be the best version of myself today. What is your daily goal? Fall in love with your daily goal. And then every 3 hours, you keep repeating it. You keep imagining and auto-suggesting every 3 hours. That's what's rewiring what you want. And then the evening process is very simple. This is what we call accountability. It's, did I act like the person who would have achieved my goal today? Did I have the discipline in my thinking? I'm not interested in your activities. See, the discipline is not your activities. It's in your thinking which creates the activities. You'll do the activities if you've disciplined your thinking. So, did I think all day long like the person I wanted to become? Did I feel like that person all day long? Did I live that standard of that person all day long? And did I have the attitude of that person? And here's the deal. Whatever that answer is, I don't expect you to go 5 for 5. And there's going to be days you go 5 for 5. There may be days you go 0 for 5. You just may have just had a bad day. You have 365 days in a year, you're going to have some bad ones, okay? You just let them go. And what you want to do is, if I ever am like, okay, I did not operate with a great attitude today. The next day, that is my number one thing I'm focusing on in my morning routine. I am focusing on doing it with a certain attitude and then operating my day with a certain attitude. See, your thoughts are real and they're things. And if you're thinking in reverse consistently, you're going to start seeing what's going to show up in your environment consistently. So you want to lock in on that evening process. It takes 5 minutes. It takes less than 5 minutes. It takes like 2 minutes. And then right before bed, your last 5 minutes, you see yourself already as the person you want to become. Anybody can do this. And you say, whatever it is your I am prosperous, I am wealthy, it feels so great that I achieved my goal. Whatever those last thoughts are, that's what your subconscious is going to go work on. Okay? So that's all you have to do. Now, we talked in goals. I recommend, but this isn't really your evening process, but sometime, maybe it's the last 10 minutes that you're finishing your workday, you write out your 3 to 6 goal achieving activities in the present tense for the next day. Okay? Now, plan your weeks on Sunday in the present tense. Most people are not doing that. We got a message, I think it was yesterday or the day before, for somebody in our Quantum Leap coaching program. They said, this idea, planning my weeks on Sunday, changed everything for me. And he said I don't know, I can't remember what he got. He got some exorbitant amount that he was working on for a long time, but it didn't happen until this. But this is what I'm telling you, it's the little disciplines, because these are easy to do. And they're easy not to do. So if this Sunday, plan your week on Friday like it was the best week of your career. That's how you do it. And you do it, bless you. You do it Monday, Tuesday. This is what I did on Monday. This is what I did on Tuesday. This is what I did on Wednesday. You know, by Friday, watch what'll start showing up. You plan it already. Okay? Now, the more disciplines you have, this is where confidence comes. Confidence comes not from studying, but from doing. Well, when we talk about doing, that's discipline. It's the more confident you'll be. The results always come, look at this word, practicing. Practicing your processes consistently over time. So we're doing them over and over and over again. And what's going to happen, you're going to start saying, your mind will come in when you're not thinking, say, am I doing it right? Forget, there is no right. Just keep doing it. Keep doing it over and over again. And that's how you're going to get there. Now, this has to be the start of every day. Today is your masterpiece. Make today, like look at that word masterpiece. It's such a great word. Like make today, like we get to make it however we want today. And today is your masterpiece. And make it your masterpiece today. Go do things today that you would have never done. Like, if you're just talking to the same people, go talk to somebody else. Start getting to know more people. You don't know, like Heidi up here may never have talked to Peter back there, and they may have a business opportunity together. They don't even know. You have no idea. So you get to know people. That's what you want to do. See, if you want to create a world-class life, you have to change what you believe is possible. This is why you don't come from your present paradigm. What is possible? What do you think, Melinda, is possible for you?
Anything.
Anything? Okay. So now let's look at, if anything is possible, let's look at how much you're stretching on a regular basis. And then say, do I believe anything is possible on an emotional level? Intellectually, we could believe something. That's not important. We've got to get it emotionally. And you know how we can check? With accountability. We say, hold on a second. I believe anything is possible, which I do too. But am I showing myself that I believe anything is possible? You see the difference? And that's for anybody. Am I showing? I remember, I don't know, this is probably 10 years ago now. I had built, my credit was so bad because I was in such a bad place before. But I was earning a lot of money at this point. But we were going, my wife was pregnant with our second child, my daughter. And we outgrew our house. And I couldn't get approved for anything, okay? And I told my realtor, I go, don't worry, we're going to find the perfect place. I go, this is what I want you to do. The only thing I want you to look at are for sale by owner homes with my criteria. And he goes, we're not going to find it. I said, forget about we're not going to find it. Just do what I'm telling you. And literally, within 3 days, we got the house. And the owner was so great. He ended up being a big, he was one of the first startups in Amazon. And so he took our loan and I'd pay him. And we had this deal where I'm like, in 6 months, so I agreed to pay big chunks of money, like 50,000 here, 25,000 here. And he's like, you don't even need to do that. We'll do it on a monthly basis, because he got to know us. See, I don't believe when you put your mind to it, you are going to find when you put all your energy to it. That's what I was telling you this morning. You don't need the money until you make a decision. And that's why I never let the realtors make decisions for me. I never let them negotiate for me. Because I'm the one who cares about the deal more than they do. You know? So all things are possible. If somebody's sitting here right now and saying, I want a house or I want a car, they can get it. It has no bearing, but they have to put all their energy forward on what they want. Okay? Now, it's one world-class goal after the next. I don't need you guys to have 10 world-class goals right now. I just need you to have one goal that, like, no shit, no kidding, this is all your energy is on. All your energy is on that goal. And it's got to be something you really want. It can't be something that's a wish or a hope. It can't be something that doesn't motivate you. It's got to motivate you enough to build the disciplines. If it doesn't motivate you enough, you're not going to build the disciplines. And this is where we want to go. See, like that room last night, that was a great room. You guys were relaxed. You guys will never forget it. And the thing about it is, the reason, like, we don't have to do that. I want to do that for people. Because I know what it's doing to your image. I know going dressed up nice and relaxed and going and have the talks. You guys had your wine and some of the biggest steaks I've ever seen in my life. I mean, these steaks. Mike, if you would have seen these steaks, it wouldn't have been in harmony with your mission. But I'm telling you, these things were like this. Anyway, those are impacting your image. See, everything I'm doing, I want it to impact my image. So think about when you're making decisions, say, is this taking me to the person I want to be or taking me away? There's never an in-between. There's never, oh, it's right in the middle. There's no such thing. We're either growing or we're dying, okay? So the type of goals you set are very important. Now, the one who is most consistent always wins. And be the most consistent. And when you are, everything will change. Now this, I told you this on day one. This one sentence changed my life. It really changed my life. That any idea that is held in the mind, that is emphasized, that is feared or revered, will begin at once to clothe itself. Now think about that. Any idea. That can be a bad idea. It could be worry, doubt, and fear. Bless you. It could be insecurity that really is not allowing you to go take that action. Okay? And any idea, so I'd be very careful what idea you're focusing on. See, everything I do is based on what's on this card, for me. Like, we gave you a card, make it your best friend. Keep it everywhere. And I have cards, like, I have them all around my house. I have one on my counter in my bathroom. I have them in my office. And I tend to lose these all the time. So I have them around, right? So, but this was a game changer for me. But this will get you to understand this. Can't really see it again today, but it will get you to understand that any idea held in the mind. So you keep repeating this over and over and over again, it's held in the mind. Remember what we said the other day? Reasoning is what gets you to freedom. But it's your will that holds that vibration. The reason is our ability to think. What am I thinking when I'm reading the goal card? See, a lot of people, like I used to tell Bob, I said, this was the best thing I ever did. We were in New York at Carnegie Hall, and he was going to speak. And right before he was going up, I thought it was going to be a big deal for him because of his obsession with Napoleon Hill. And I said, so is this a big deal? And he goes, no. And he goes, it's really not. And he said, I said, what do you think was the biggest thing that you implemented for yourself? And he said, auto-suggestion. I said, me too. See, I know anything I auto-suggest consistently, it's a done deal. Like, I have that belief. I have someone in our Millionaire Mastermind program. She sent me a message this week. Her name's Joan. And she had such a big connection to this, but she did it differently. Hers was listening to recordings, but it's the same thing. She listened to recordings, and I used to tell her, I'm like, Joan, all you're doing is rewriting the program. So we have to rewrite that program. And if you don't know what you want completely yet, you say, I'm so happy and grateful now that I'm doing what I love and loving what I'm doing, and I'm living a world-class life. Well, guess what's going to happen? You keep saying that? I'm telling you, it's coming in. It's coming in. But understand, we've got to let go of the old identity consistently. When we're holding on to that old identity, that's where the fear comes from. That's where it was like, oh my gosh, that's all I know. And you have to let that go. And when you do it, you're aligning your suggestions on a conscious and on a subconscious level. And Heidi, that's what I was telling you this morning. You've got some strong paradigms right now, okay? We want to be aware of them. When we're aware of them, we can change them. If we're not aware of them, we can't change them. And guess what? So do I. And so does Geneva. Everybody does. The paradigms are strong, but we want to create a relationship with it. Like over the years, I've learned, like, don't give the paradigm attention. So I don't give it attention. I'm aware of it, but I don't say, oh God, that's because of my paradigm. And I never give it attention. Because the more attention I give it, the more power it's having. So either you are letting the paradigm beat you, or your mindset is going to be stronger than your emotions. That's up to you. Well, how do you do it? You do it with the consistency of thinking in a certain way. And that's how you're going to get the results. See, this is where you've got repetition you have to fall in love with. You have to fall in love with it. This is the foundation. And repetition is the mother of learning. That's what repetition is. And you could go in any walk of life and you could see repetition working. You could see it working in any walk of life. Like yesterday, Mikey's husband was showing me her son's swing. And I'm like, you could see the repetition because he wasn't even thinking about it. You could just see it. And I'm like, I grew up playing baseball at a very high level, so I understood. But you could see him. He's turning his hip. Like in the beginning, there's no way he was doing that. There's no way. It was all mechanical. Well, I want you to use the repetition, so now your identity picks it up, so it'd be harder not to do than to do it. See, and we have to assume you already are what you want to be. See, I gave you guys some of my favorite quotes, okay, from a book called The Power of Awareness. And there's 5 of them. And how I recommend you study this is read them every day. But don't read them once. Read them 5 times a day. Don't put any book you have right now you're reading, put it down. See, a lot of people are reading, but they're not implementing. It's about the implementation. And the way I would read this, like, let's say I go to the second paragraph. It says, man attracts what he is. So I would be thinking to myself, how I would study this is I would think of my goal first. Okay, man attracts what he is. So I attract what I am. So do I like what I'm attracting? And then I'd say, okay, I like it. We're going in the right direction. Or no, I don't like it. I'm going to change. Okay? I'd be like, what part of what I don't like that I'm doing? And then I'd identify that. That's just in 3 words. This is how I would study it. The art of life is to sustain the feeling of the wish fulfilled and let things come to you. So right away, that's a reminder. Imagine you read that 100 times. That's a reminder I don't have to force anything. It's happening in perfect timing. Observe your inner talking and remember your aim. So I think, is my self-talk in harmony with my goal? And it says, does your inner talking match what you would say audibly had you achieved your goal? Like, am I reaffirming what I want or what I don't want throughout the day? Not just when I'm doing the auto-suggestion, not when I'm having my best days, but on my worst days, am I still holding that self-talk? Well, the individual's inner speech and actions attract the conditions of his life. Okay, so are my actions aligned with what I want to go? Like, that's one paragraph. See, you want to start studying these because they're going to take you to a much different level of depth. And you don't even need to do all 5. You could pick one of them and say, I'm going to do one of these paragraphs 5 times a day, but I'm going to become it. I'm going to become every word of it. And when you are, you know what's going to happen? You're not going to go back. When you are, you're not going to go back. But if you keep reaffirming what you don't want, you are going to go through some problems. You're going to be weakening your image. So use this. We already went over the declaration statement, but these 2 will be huge for you. But I'm asking you, and I'm encouraging you, to put everything else down you're reading and read these and be it. The key is being it. That's what we're talking about here. You must assume you are already what you want to be. Do you know what assumption is? It's a fact. That's what assumption is. It's a fact. I already am that. I already am that. I already am earning $1 million or more every month. I already am that. I'm not going to that. That's where people are. They are not fused with what they want. They're fused with what they don't want. They're separate from what they want. That's why when we did goals, I said you have to decide right now that you're going to become one with what you want, not one with what you don't want. Okay? Yeah.